What's going on, everybody? King of Dragons 5000 here, coming at you with another figure review. Today we'll be having a look at the Conjuring 2 Crooked Man by NECA. And so here we have the Crooked Man posed and out of the packaging. Before we take a look at the figure, let's actually take a look at what the Crooked Man comes with. The Crooked Man does come with 3 different head sculpts. He does come with a neutral expression that he has on him right now. Does come with a menacing snarl face. Then we also do get a head where he's smiling. The Crooked Man also does come with 5 different hands. We do get a pair of open palmed hands. We do get a pair of grasping hands. And he does come with a right hand for gripping his crooked umbrella. And since we're on that, he also does come with a really nice crooked umbrella which does fit into his hand, or you can hang it on his arm. And then finally we do have the Zoetrope, which all these accessories do look really nice with the Crooked Man. I guess you can count his hat as an accessory because it does come off. But I'm going to say it's part of his costume and not an accessory. Even though it is listed on his accessories, that's part of his costume. So other than that, the Crooked Man doesn't come with anything else. I don't know what more you would want the Crooked Man to come with. So with that out of the way, guys, let's actually have a closer look at the Crooked Man. And so taking a look at the Crooked Man, you can see that NECA has done an amazing job with this figure. He looks just like he did in The Conjuring. Even though he was mostly CG, there's really no way you can get this in human costume, I guess. Unless you did like some stop motion, but the Crooked Man here does look really nice. Really love the paint apps on this guy. You can see right here on his hat that it is red with some dark wash all throughout it, so it does bring out all those nice gnarly little details. It looks well worn. He does, of course, have his glasses over the brim of his hat right here, and you can see where his eyes peek through, which that's just really creepy. And then, again, the hat is removable, and you can see the really disturbing Crooked Man face. Just all these wrinkles, everything about him looks creepy. His ears, his eyes, they're just sunken holes. His little grin is also creepy. And unfortunately for mine, there is some red paint that probably came off the hat that is all over his head, but that's okay. The hat's going to cover it up mostly. Having a look at his wardrobe, you can see he does have a really nice ascot. I don't think that's a proper term for this, but I'm going to call it an ascot just because it looks like an ascot. He does have a yellow shirt underneath his jacket and his vest. And they did a really good job with the pinstripes on it. The pinstriping on his jacket looks phenomenal, and I'm really glad that they did, or they were able to do this nicely. There's sometimes when they do pinstripes when it looks terrible, but NECA here has done a really good job with the pinstriping. For the most part, this is one area that I was mentioning that they kind of did miss the mark here, because you can see there's a pinstripe right there that doesn't go anywhere, but at least it is uniform and doesn't go anywhere there. Right here you can see those lines, not so nice, and that kind of looks weird when you look at his arm. Taking a look at his arms or his hands, he has these really gangly, gaunt hands, and I love it. Like, everything about the Crooked Man is really well done, from the paint on his torso to the paint on his flesh. It looks really creepy, and just look at how eerie those hands look. This has a really nice presence to it, and I really do like it. Taking a closer look at his vest, you can see it matches his jacket, which I think in the movie it was darker. I want to say that his vest was actually almost black. If not, it was a really deep burgundy. You can see the buttons are all nicely painted. The flap right here does work. His jacket goes all the way down to the tails. And then he has these really gangly legs that hang all the way down, going onto his shoes, where we do have some blackened spats with really nice detail right here. You can see they actually did sculpt and paint these little rivets on his spats. They even painted the black strap that goes underneath the spats, And then we take a look at his shoes, where he's just wearing black shoes. So overall, NECA has done a great job with the Crooked Man, and this is a really impressive looking figure. Now, unfortunately for mine, the right leg is longer than the left leg, so he's kind of always at an angle, but I'm learning that it's perfectly okay with the Crooked Man, because he's the Crooked Man. He's not going to be standing up straight all the time, because, you know, he's kind of crooked. But anyway, with that out of the way, guys, let's get his hat back on and compare him to other figures you may have in your collection. Here we have the Crooked Man posed next to a Marvel Legends Cyclops and a DC Multiverse Superman. Here we have the Crooked Man posed next to a WWE Elite Scale figure and a Mezco 1/12 Collective Popeye the Sailor Man. Here we have the Crooked Man posed next to a Lightning Collection White Ranger and a Star Wars Black Series Mandalorian. And finally, here we have the Crooked Man posed next to the NECA Ultimate Pennywise and the NECA Ultimate Jason Voorhees. So with the comparisons out of the way, let's actually take a closer look at the Crooked Man's articulation. We do have a ball joint here in the neck, which does let him look up to about that far. He can look down to about that far. Can tilt his head side to side, which works really well. Does turn left and right, so really do like that articulation there. We do have a ball joint in the shoulder, which does hinge out to about right there. He does do a full 360, however, it's really stiff on that side. Let's see if I can do it on this arm. Yeah, he does do a full 360, but his jacket does get in the way, so do be careful with that. Even though it is soft rubber, it still does get in the way of articulation. So be aware of that. We don't have a bicep swivel, but what we do have is a swivel down here at the elbow. Even though he has a really long elbow, I think it kind of works for the Crooked Man. We do have a really nice double bend here at the elbow. And I know it doesn't look like your traditional elbow joint, but you know what? He's a Crooked Man. He doesn't need to look normal. We do have rotation here at the forearm. It's kind of stiff on mine, and I do have to loosen that up with some hot water or a hairdryer. We do have a hinge in the wrist, which does go back and forward. And then, of course, you can rotate that to have an up and down hinge. And of course, it does swivel on that peg. We do have a ball joint in the torso, although it doesn't want to go back. I don't think it goes any further than that, and it only goes about that far forward, so we don't get too much articulation here in the torso. He is kind of also sculpted in like this little hunch, so do be aware of that. Legs do go all the way out to the side, no problem. Does kick forward to about right there, goes back to about that far. We do have rotation at the thigh. We have a single bend in the knee, unfortunately, but we get 90 degrees with that. And it does swivel, but it is stiff on mine. And then finally, we do have a ball joint in the ankle, so it does go back, forward, and we do have some slight pivot for rocker. So overall, the Crooked Man here has a lot of good articulation. So with that out of the way, guys, let's actually get him posed for my final thoughts, and then we'll wrap up this review. And so here we have the Crooked Man posed for my final thoughts, and overall this is one figure I've been dying to get hold of. I really do love the look of the figure. I think the Crooked Man has this really neat profile to him that he will stand out in any collection he's in. He's really gaunt, he's lanky, there's so many things to love about him. The way the hat covers his eyes with the glasses. It's just a really interesting figure to own. If you're not a fan of The Conjuring, I still think you should at least give the Crooked Man a look at, because he's such an interesting figure. There's really hardly anything wrong I can find with him, other than stiff joints. I think stiff joints are my #1 fear with a figure like this, because of how thin he is. That means really small joints, meaning really thin joints. He's pretty brittle. Could be fragile. I haven't had any issues with him, and I was able to fix his leg off camera the way that I fixed the Hell Jordan leg. So if you haven't seen how to fix the NECA figure's height, go check that video out. But I still love the way Crooked Man came out. The Zoetrope is a nice little detail, and I'm thankful that the handle does rotate, and the little light where it would project also rotates. The umbrella does bring the entire character together, and there's really not much more I can say other than if you're a fan of The Conjuring or just want a really interesting figure to have in your collection, this is one to pick up. With that being said, guys, I'm KingofDragons 5000. Don't forget to like this video, leave a comment, subscribe to my channel. Go check out all my other action figure reviews as well as all my other NECA videos. Hopefully you find them informative. As always, if there's a figure you would like to see me review, let me know down in the comments. And if it's in my collection, I'll definitely have a look at it. While you're at it, check out my Instagram account for new and exciting action figure photos. And as always, ring that bell to be notified every time I upload a video. Until next time, guys, I'll see you later. Take care, everyone.